Hello YouTube, and welcome to David Ask Richard Game Reviews, and this week I'll be talking about the video game Crash of 1983. It's really interesting when you look back at the history of video game and generations of consoles and games and the way it's progressed, and the one thing that always stands out for me is the video game Crash of 1983. I mean, for one thing, it only happened in North America, it didn't happen in the rest of the world. But there are a lot of reasons for this. I mean, one, as soon as Atari found its stride, so many companies copied them. There was just so many consoles. I mean, there was the Atari, its successor, the ColecoVision, the Intellivision, the Magnavox Odyssey, and there was just so many, and they were releasing so many games, and most of them were not really that good. I mean, the two biggest games that most people attribute to the Crash, one, Pac-Man. I mean, Pac-Man and the Atari 2600 was not that good of a game. I mean, the creator, the version that you saw was a prototype. He showed it to the executives at Atari, and what they do? They released it. That's why the game looks so bad, because it was unfinished. And the next game that really didn't help was E.T. Literally, as soon as Time Warner got the rights to it, they said we needed a game for Christmas. And literally they had 6 weeks to make the game, to market it, create the cartridge, package it, and then ship it off in time for Christmas. I mean, 6 weeks. Even a basic Atari game, you cannot make a good game in 6 weeks. It's not possible. And it's only years later that people realise there is an art to it. Making a great game takes time, and a lot of creativity and talented people need to be in it. But it's only now that people are really getting appreciated for what they're doing. I mean, the game, they thought it was going to be a system seller. I mean, literally, they had 10 million Ataris, and they made 12 million games, and nearly everyone returned it. Atari had so many of these games, they ended up putting them into a landfill site, and then covering it over with cement. It's in New Mexico somewhere. I'd love to go there one day and just visit it, just for a laugh. There is no reason. I mean, during that time was the era of the personal computer, and you think about it, you've got so many consoles, so many crappy games, and you're thinking, why not get a computer? You can play games, you can do word processing, you can do lots of good things, and they were pretty advanced for the time, and they were way more powerful than the consoles at the time. And it's funny because in this country, I mean, consoles, I don't personally think consoles were really big until the beginning of the 16-bit era for lots of reasons. I mean, yeah, alright, you had the Master System, it did well, and same with the NES. But you've got to bear in mind that they were 8-bit systems going up against 8-bit computers at the time, and they were pretty close in power, I'd say. I mean, I remember playing games on the Amstrad, and it's only when the 16-bit era came around I realised, yeah, it was time to move on. But until the 16-bit era, people were quite happy with the Amstrad, the Commodore, even the Spectrum. People were happy with them. I mean, you could buy games, cheap games, for like a couple of quid. A new game for what was it, like a 10 or 15 quid? I can't remember. Or do you buy a Nintendo and buy a game for 50 or 60 pounds? No way. But when the 16-bit era came to play, it was a different story. People were willing to buy these new consoles and buy these ridiculously overpriced cartridges. I mean, it's the thing about games. I mean, I think when we went to CD media, it did go down in price, and it's gone back up now, and that's kind of where it stayed up until now. But about About 2 years later, Nintendo released the Nintendo in America, and as they say, the rest is history. You know, console game came back into America, and things are where they are now. But the real question is, could this happen again? Could we see a video game crash or something of a similar scale? Yes and no. I think the core audience for video games are never going to go away. It's so huge. I mean, I'm a video game fan, and I've been a video game my whole life. But I think the casual audience may leave at some point, and the problem is they're all on the Wii. And most people bought the Wii as a party machine. You pick it up, you play it, you have a laugh, and you wait till the next party or next event, and you've got loads of people around. Most people who have Wii's don't really play them. I mean, like my Wii. If it wasn't for the virtual console on it, I wouldn't play it at all, because I don't know, it doesn't really do it for me. I mean, I like being able to play the old games. I think it's quite convenient. It's sort of like it's like the iTunes of retro gaming, and that's the best thing about the Wii for me. But the problem is there's just so many games being released, and if you look at the games, they haven't got Nintendo seal of quality. It's only literally on Nintendo-made games, which is a bad move. That's what killed the Atari. And Nintendo's doing the exact same thing. I mean, and most shops cannot actually hold all these games. There's so many games coming out that they actually don't have room for them all, and that is just bad. And unless you read magazines or go online, check out review scores, you cannot buy a Wii game going blind. You cannot do it. Otherwise, you're going to get something that's really bad, and then a month or two later, it's going to be worth pennies. So it's a waste of money and your time. I personally think if Nintendo don't do something soon, I think something could happen to it. I don't want Nintendo. I don't want anything bad happen to Nintendo, because I like Nintendo. I like the games, but I just don't like the fact that it's got so many bad games being released on it. But I want to hear your opinions. I mean, what's your opinion about what's happening with the Wii and all the games being released for it, or even Video Game Crash? Or do you think there could be another Crash? I'd love to hear your opinions. If you think I've missed out something, or if you want to add something, I'd love to hear your opinions. So I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, peace out.